And good afternoon there, YouTube. This is Stampede Valkyrie coming at you towards the end of August 2019. I know I've been away for a while, so I figured I'd just make a quick video, or at least talk about some things as I go along here. I apologize for not posting any other videos as of late. Just been real busy, life in general, as I'm sure most people get at this point. But the reason why I'm posting this video is I dug this guy out. I figure I'd do something with it. This light does have a story. I said, we're not going too far into it. It's kind of a good story slash bad story. So the bar itself actually comes from a local fire company. I believe it was Goodwill Fire Company, Good something Fire Company. I want to say Goodwill Fire Company because that sounds about right. Originally it was candy cane, so it was red clear candy cane going across. They still have the original lenses. They're actually in good shape. But the reason why I'm making this video is to kind of demo these, what I'm going to call interesting domes. And I use the term interesting because if you look, you have your driver's side, almost CA spec, red, amber rear. And if you come around, we've got red, blue over the end lamp. But on the driver's side, it's reverse. We've got blue lens, red end lamp. And on the end here, no alleys, obviously. We've got another red on the end lamp. So very interesting. I call it an odd lens combination, and here's where the bad comes into play. So these lenses were actually pre-ordered. I had a customer come up to me and inquire if I could get them Aero lenses. I said, yeah, of course I can. Let me see what I can do for you. Customer pretty much just vaporwared on me and disappeared. And when he did so, essentially what ended up happening was the just disappeared. I was out like $200-300 for these new lenses. And I couldn't return them because obviously anything you order from Federal is pretty much special order. And when you do special order from Federal, it's pretty much, you're stuck with them. Unless obviously they make an obvious mistake. So I decided I'd keep them. I never really questioned as to what they were for. This light did briefly, very briefly, serve as a decoration in a Halloween haunted house last season. It was used to put up against the wall, and you didn't really see the light, you just saw the reflection of the light, made it look like the police were outside, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of ingenious. So it very briefly was used for something like that. It was never been mounted to the vehicle, so these domes are still new, but I never really figured out what these domes were for. The closest that I could think of, to be honest with you, would be maybe military police. I've seen some Aerodynics that were like US Air Force military police that had very similar domes. In other words, red with the blue on the one side end cap, and blue with the red on the other side end cap. But I never really could have anybody confirm that. Maybe somebody can come and tell me. Maybe somebody knows. I mean, especially it's especially odd with the single amber rear that's in place here, which is actually kind of neat. I mean, so all in all, it's actually a very interesting dome. If you look at it, you can see it's basically a red 4-panel dome with a red or a blue on the front and amber in the back. And the other one, again, if I come around again, even though I've shown this already, it's blue dome, blue end cap, all blue with red on the end. So kind of interesting. I just kind of find them neat and never really got rid of it, even though, obviously I was kind of put on the shaft for this. So what I'm doing today, and the reason why I'm making this video, is that I'm actually going to install a flasher on this bar. And I've already unscrewed the lens, so I'm going to open it up. And I want to put a flasher on here. Now, this is another example of what happens if you don't, and bear with me a moment here, I'm going to put this guy down and be careful with it because, again, the dome is pristine. This is an example of what happens when you're ready to do something and you're missing one part, and you put it off, and you never actually get around to doing it. So, as you can see, the inside of this bar is actually pristine. I mean, I never actually cleaned this bar up. I mean, you do have some grease overlay there, but I mean, look at it. I mean, the inside of this bar is minty, very minty. And I did not restore this. This is pretty much as it came to me, other than replacing the domes. But what I want to do is I want to put a flasher here, and the flasher actually resides here. And I want an onboard flasher. So currently there is no flasher on here. These lights are actually steadies. Here is an Aerodynic wiring harness. I believe the one I have now is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terminal, which is correct for an EH or a 24E. This one here is a 6 terminal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terminal. Apologize for that. 7 terminal, and that would be correct for like an EAH. or anything with alleys and stuff like that. Just an FYI. But what I've been looking for is this. For some reason, these were everywhere. I could find these at auto stores, whatever. I mean, it's just a little holder. Yeah, can't get them anymore. I guess oftentimes they came with, what do you want to call it? The flasher. If you actually got a flasher, it would come with them. They were given for free. You'd figure somebody somewhere would have a bunch of these lying around. Apparently not. So I ended up raiding my parts bin and I pulled it. So I have the can flasher. I just didn't have this holder, and this is what was holding up this light. It's ironic, this little bent piece of metal held up this light for probably about 3 or 4 months before I finally got off my rear and decided to do something about it. Other than that, once I install this piece back here onto that piece, I'll then mount the flasher and then connect the wiring for the end lamps to the flasher, basically splice them in, and then I'll have an onboard mounted flasher on this bar. That's it in a nutshell. I'm not going to take any video of obviously the light working in this instance. This is just yeah, I'm back. This is what I'm working on. I'll probably make another video at some point of this light working and everything flashing, so on and so forth. But I figured I'd just post it up here and see what the deal is. So in the future, well, there's a couple things, and this kind of branches out. So future videos, I'm not running away from lights. I'm not getting out of them. It's just the fact that obviously between work and everything else, my time is a lot more limited, and it will be, at least in the near future, until I can actually branch out and do some other things. There's a couple other things though beyond that, and I'm not going to turn this into a preachy video, but I am not a fan of Google or what YouTube is doing right now in regards to censoring different viewpoints, different whatever. While I don't agree with everything that's on YouTube, I do agree that everybody has a right to say how they feel and not be vilified and attacked for it. So because of that, and again, not trying to be too preachy, I've kind of limited my use of YouTube, and that's another reason why I think, honestly, that I've actually stopped posting. And you'll never really hear me come out and say, hey, like my videos or anything, because I honestly don't care. I make these videos more for me than I do anybody else, and I know I don't have a huge following. I've only got a couple hundred people, but it's not a big deal. So what? I like to look at lights. I'm assuming other people like to look at lights. So you're not going to hear me do the stupid things like subscribe, ring the bell, any of that crap. No, I don't care if you do or you don't. These videos are more for me than anybody else. I like to help people out, and I like to show people what I encounter. But unfortunately, right now, in the current climate and the way things are, I don't agree with YouTube. I don't agree with what Google's doing. And because of that, you have to remember that YouTube was YouTube. So in other words, it's creators like myself and like you that created this platform. And they're turning their backs on it. And I honestly don't like that. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm not going to get into politics. I don't really like talking about politics. There's no point, because people get mad at each other because nobody can act civilly. But at this point here, back to the light. I'll finish this up. I'll get that flasher on. I may make a video once I actually have it bolted back in, or I'll just edit that into this one. And that's it in a nutshell. Then I'll have another video out of this thing actually flashing with its unique dome configuration. So that's it, YouTube. I may add a little bit more once I actually get this flasher in, and if that's the case, I'll just append this.